The mysterious death of a high school cheerleader on a cruise ship is what's trending in true crime this morning, as her step-sibling may be facing charges. 18-year-old Anna Kepner was reported dead while aboard a Carnival Horizon cruise ship earlier this month. But according to an unrelated court filing, one of her step-siblings could be charged soon. Chantel Hudson, Kepner's stepmother, requested a delay in her custody hearing with her previous husband because of a, quote, extremely sensitive and severe circumstance. The filing goes on to say that Hudson, quote, has been advised through discussions with the FBI investigators and her attorneys that a criminal case may be initiated against one of the minor children of this instant action, end quote. So we know that the 18-year-old's travel party included her father, her stepmother, and her step-siblings. But details surrounding Anna's death still haven't been released. The FBI continues leading the investigation, but does Kepner's family know what really happened? Let's ask our investigators about that. Let's bring in private investigator with Black Ops, private investigators Manuel Gomez, and retired NYPD detective and the host of the Rob O'Donnell Show, Rob O'Donnell. Good morning to you both. Does the family have the answers? Rob, would you start off our conversation, please?
Well, based on the stepmother's filing in this unrelated custody case, it appears so. It appears that they know more than they're letting on. It appears that the father, the biological father of this 18-year-old, seems to be pleading for more information. But obviously in this court filing, it appears that that fingers have been pointed and questions have been asked about at least one of the step-siblings here in this case. So I would say they do know, because why not just ask for a postponement because her stepdaughter was just found dead on a cruise ship? Why this extra information in this unrelated court proceeding?
Ooh, that's a good point, Rob. Thank you. Manuel, your thoughts on the family and what they may know, please.
I think that there's a lot of secrets that are unfortunately of sensitive nature in this case regarding the family and what's going on with the siblings, and they're being very covert about releasing that information. But the one thing that really disturbs me about this case is the fact that they didn't look into the evidence even further down when this girl was on the ship. There's a lot of evidence out there that's still out there.
Right, Manuel. I have a statement from the Carnival Cruise Line on Anna Kepner's death. The statement says, Carnival Cruise Line is fully cooperating with the Miami office of the FBI. It is up to the FBI's Miami Public Affairs Office to provide further details. Our focus is on supporting the family of our guest, end quote. So let's talk a little bit now about how Anna's body was found. So the Daily Mail and CBS News are both reporting that the 18-year-old was stuffed underneath a bed in the cabin where she was staying with her family. The Daily Mail reporting that Anna was found dead, wrapped up in a blanket. Anonymous sources telling the Daily Mail that Kepner was covered up by life jackets. Kepner's father, Christopher, made this statement soon after his teenage daughter was found dead, saying, quote, everybody was questioned. Everybody came off that ship. I don't know who they are looking at or what their investigation is. The FBI hasn't shared anything with me yet. I would imagine they're going to be in contact with me about it, but I know as little as everybody else. I have no idea what is going on right now. We're just trying to sit still and wait for answers. So it makes us wonder here at Court TV, does it sound like there was foul play here with Anna Kepner's death? Manuel Gomez, would you start us off, please, with your thoughts?
Well, I have to tell you, Julianne, the last court interview that I did on Court TV regarding this case, I received numerous phone calls, and I actually got a very big tip on this case. One of the cruise passengers was telling me that Anna was at the theater, and she was with this young guy, which fits the description of the stepbrother, okay? And they were arguing intensely. Okay, and then the fact that her body was jammed under the bed, hidden, it tells me that the person that did this, one, was young. This wasn't like a regular murder. I think this was a crime of passion. And I think what happened was, and I hate to say this, but it seems like possibly that the brother had physical intentions towards the sister, and it didn't plan out. She said no, and he most likely wind up doing this. That's my suspicion in this case, due to the evidence and phone calls that I received from passengers on the cruise ship after doing the Court TV episode.
Wow, that's really something, Manuel. Thank you for sharing that. Of course, if we at Court TV are able to confirm any of that independently, we certainly will. But, you know, that's a theory, certainly. Rob, I want to ask you the same question. Does this sound like foul play to you, even though we don't know Anna's cause of death just yet? It hasn't been released.
Well, there's absolutely foul play in the disposal, or at least the hiding of the body. Just the way the body was found, there's obviously someone else involved here that was there either during or after the death. You know, when I talked about this case on my show yesterday, I says, unfortunately, you know, although the family's going through their own trauma here, they need to be ruled out, and they're going to be looked at first to be ruled out. And it appears the FBI is in that direction. You know, two of the theories that I came with, based on her age and out on a cruise ship, you know, was there some sort of, and I'm looking to see the full autopsy here with the toxicology and stuff like that. You know, was she out hanging out with someone and maybe overdosed on drugs, and that person panicked and just hid the body and took off and wanted to distance themselves from it? Or in this case, you know, a step sibling. You have to realize in a case like this, we know now that there's an ongoing custody battle with the biological father. There is a divorce play here. There's step parents, step siblings. The hierarchy of this family is being disrupted. If you look at the picture, even though they're juveniles and their faces are blurred out, you could tell they're mid to upper teens, these two boys that are in the picture. You know, was there a challenge to his status in the family? Did he feel threatened by this new step family that he's now part of and have this confrontation? I believe we're going to find out. You know, these are not hardened criminals here, and I think based on the statements that the stepmother's already had, more of this is going to come to fruition. And I wouldn't be surprised if any defense attorney says, you know, based on the trauma that this child's going through, based on a divorce and this new step family, you know, something happened there mentally that he had a breakdown. And I guess we'll see as we move forward here.
Yeah, all good points, Rob. Thanks. Manuel, if you could interview anybody in this family, who would be the first person you would want to talk to?
The first person would be the oldest stepson. Again, like I said, he was the one that I've been giving indications about having problems with the sister on the boat. He'd be the first one I lean on. The second one would be the younger one. And again, those hallway camera footage, I would definitely zoom in on that. I know they can't tell you about when she opened the door or not, but then the third thing I would look into is, what was the condition of her body? Yes, granted, Julie, she was wrapped up in a blanket, jammed up underneath the bed. That's like my colleague said, it's foul play. I said it from the beginning, this is a homicide, okay? And then it's shoved under with a life vest. But the bottom line is, was she clothed or unclothed? And I have a funny feeling that girl was unclothed. I have a funny feeling that brother did something.
And Manuel, I appreciate the theory. Look, you and Rob, you guys have seen everything. And both of you served with the NYPD, too. There's another, you know, a thing you both have in common. Again, a theory. We have not independently confirmed anything relating to the stepbrother, but it's certainly a possibility. And we'll keep following this case and report any information, especially cause of death, as soon as that is learned and any more information the FBI is willing to release.